don't know if you have ever looked at your life and said, you know, I like my life. My life is good, but I'm kind of missing something. I want something else. I can do something else. And that was me.
Interesting things about traveling is that you don't really know what you're gonna face at the other side of your destination.
My main initial opinion of Milan was very hard to deal with. When I first entered into Milan, I had quite a bit of cultural issues and problems.
I had a lot of situations that I didn't feel like I ever fit in Japanese society, and I felt like no matter what I did, I never would fit in.
So I learned immediately language is a huge issue. And I studied, and I really had an intention of immersing myself, but how do you immerse yourself when you don't know the language?
There was times where I would try to speak and nothing came out correctly.
It's very humbling because language is reduced to the level of a 6-year-old, if you think about it. You say things like, I like, and I want, and where is the bathroom? I want to dance, I want to drink.
Our first basketball game, I missed a layup, and they're like, die, Jenna, die, die. And one of the girls goes, not the American die, it means come on in Italian.
For the first 2 years, there was a serious social struggle, in a way. Everyone's goes on and on about tailgating and football, and for me, this was something that I knew nothing about. When there is a conversation, it's usually about how different you are, not about how you integrate. So, oh, you come from Arabia, do you have camels there? Do you live in the desert? And
this actually, I would say, was the first challenge that I faced. That I was coming to the US to get to know the US, and I was instantly placed in a place full of internationals.
I had many American friends who went, and they got what they wanted out of it, but unfortunately, when I talk to them now, they regret not staying in Milan and traveling the whole time. Because they didn't live in Milan, they used it as a hub to travel. They didn't learn the language, and so I knew if I went over there, I'd have to do this for my own well-being. I would feel like I wasted my time there if you don't learn the language. People don't accept you. And
I guess it's a personal choice at some point to either try your best to integrate or just, just to stay in your bubble.
You're only going to experience as much as you let yourself. And whether or not you speak the language, if you make an effort, people see that. And most people, I would say 99% of the people I met abroad really wanted to help me learn some of the language.
This is a good advice if you go to a place where you don't speak the language. You just smile.
When you want to make friends, you can't just expect it to happen. You need to be out there and do your part to have friends. And try to be involved in things that will put me in the same room with many Americans and people who are different than me. So even it affected my involvement, affected my social activities, where I'll try to do less of the international, crowd and more of the local crowd.
But then at a certain point, you start to feel progress and improvement, and that's when you realize I can do this, and it really motivates you. So making friends was hard, but even when you're kind of alone, you just have to realize that if you keep trying to improve yourself, you're going to make friends, you're going to meet people, and it comes together.
In terms of meeting people, I feel like it's the same as in America. You meet people at your university, you meet people you're in classes with. If you're at a cafe and someone asks you a question, they're like, hey, where are you from? You're like, oh, I'm studying abroad, I'm from blah, blah, blah. And you start a conversation. I mean, people, that is the most basic thing, is people are people anywhere. And you connect with people on mutual friends and common interests. I like cooking, I like traveling, I like reading. I'm really interested in learning about your culture. And you just make these basic connections with people, and then you exchange phone numbers, Hey, you want to hang out sometime? And you hang out the next time. And then you're friends.
And I realized that if I had never asked why, I would have never been able to understand what I do about Japan or even the world. I think asking why is an important thing when you're in another country, even in normal friendships within a country.
You should always ask why, and you should always say yes. Because yes opens possibilities, no closes everything. You think you're keeping people away, but you're actually containing yourself.
Go do whatever your country is famous for, and go experience what the Egyptians do, or what the Israelis do, or what the French do, and try their style. Go out of your box and really experience it. And I look at people now in a very different way. because everyone's unique from where they're from, and everyone brings something really, truly inspirational, I think, to the table.
The more you study abroad, like the more you go abroad, the more you see that people are just people anywhere you go, and the more you become what I call an international citizen, and the more you realize that we are all like one family in one world.